I'm Jess Ratty, here tonight on behalf of Plymouth City Council and crowdfunder to host the mega exciting Plymouth Climate Challenge event, socially distanced, of course, from the wonderful Cornwall Channel studios. Now this event and the prize money is being funded by the Engaged Cities Award through the Cities of Service. And as you're aware, this is live, so bear with me for any hiccups. So what is the Plymouth Climate Challenge? On the 18th of March 2019, Plymouth City Councillors voted unanimously to declare a climate emergency and pledged to make Plymouth carbon neutral by 2030. Plymouth City Council has been doing some incredible work in driving climate action and is driven in their ambition to fulfil their citywide climate emergency action plan. Through the Climate Challenge, they're offering one impactful project the opportunity to win £5,000 in prize money, right here, right now. To give us a bit more background on Plymouth's role in tackling climate change, I spoke to Labour MP and Shadow Environment Secretary Luke Pollard. Thanks for joining us, Luke. You are the Labour and Cooperative MP for Plymouth, Sutton, Devonport and the Shadow Environment Secretary. And thank you very much for joining our Plymouth Climate Challenge event. I was going to start by asking you, you know about the event that we're running this evening, and why do you think this is so important to have all these projects involved?
Oh, it's a brilliant showcase for what Plymouth is really good at. So we do know that we're in the middle of this climate and ecological emergency, and that means we not only need government to be stepping up, but we need every community to be doing their bit. And what you've got in front of you with these projects, I think, is like the very best of Plymouth. We've got, amazing projects around decarbonisation, amazing projects about getting people involved with nature, amazing projects about looking after our oceans. And I think when taken together, that is an incredible range of the passion and energy that we have as a city. But we need that energy and passion, because if we're going to hit net zero by whatever date you want, and I'm a 2030 rather than a 2050 person, we're going to need not only big action from governments and corporations, we're going to need communities that feel empowered and have the resources to do that. And that's what this crowdfunder really shows, that people will dig into their pockets to donate to support causes they really find important.
That's brilliant. You've touched on such an incredible point there, because crowdfunding is all about community, and it's clear that Plymouth has got the most incredible range of people all coming together to make these projects happen, irregardless of who wins this evening. What would you say would be particularly important about communities coming together to tackle climate change?
Well, one thing that worries me sometimes about the climate debate is this creeping sense that you have to be affluent to be able to decarbonise. Because for lots of the folks that I represent in Plymouth, they don't own their own home. Nearly half the folks I represent live in the private rented sector. So someone else is responsible for the boiler or for the windows or for the insulation. And that sometimes means the debate about how you can decarbonise your own life is somewhat limited. But what all these projects show is that there is a role for every single person in our community, whether they have lots of cash in their pockets or not, to be able to do something. And that's really where crowdfunders, I think, really can have an effect, because you can donate thousands of pounds or you could donate £1. And it all makes a difference. And I think that is the democratic nature of how crowdfunding works, and the idea that there's multipliers that kick in, that really build on the donations that people have been able to achieve for these amazing causes, I think just shows that we do have this energy and drive as a city to do the right thing. And we do need to continue that process, because I know not every project can win the competition, but effectively every single project is going to be able to deliver something really good for our city. And the energy that they've created and the enthusiasm and support, I think, will help deliver future phases for those projects and new ideas. And so hopefully it will be for those people who are watching going, I've got an idea, I think we could do something. Then the crowdfunder platform and the idea of being able to ask others for their support and their buy-in and getting a stake in those projects, I think will deliver more benefit in the future.
Luke, you're absolutely fantastic, and one thing's for sure is Plymouth is very lucky to have you. So thank you ever so much for coming on, and hopefully you'll see the projects live tonight and maybe put a pledge in on one or two.
Fantastic. I have done already, so this is wonderful. Keep up the good work, everyone.
Brilliant. Thanks, Luke. Now, the Plymouth Climate Challenge started in September. And since the beginning of November, our 7 shortlisted projects have been crowdfunding to make their ideas a reality and to make a real difference to the city. So far, these 7 projects have raised over £110,000 and they've had over £70,000 in match funding approved. The 3 projects we'll be meeting this evening, who've all made it as finalists, have raised the most money. And tonight we'll not only be receiving an extra £2,500 each, but will also compete to impress our panel of judges who will decide the winner of the £5,000 prize. And we're super lucky tonight to be joined by the wonderful backers of these projects. Give us a wave, everybody. Woo! Yes, isn't that amazing? Okay, so let's meet the people who are going to be judging these 3 fantastic projects. We've got Plymouth City Councillor Sue Dan. Oh, that's not Sue. Where's Sue? Okay, so we've also got Sharon Davies MPE, and we should have, hi Sharon. We should, lovely, brilliant. There we go, there's Sue as well, that's fantastic. Hi Sue Dan, Councillor Sue Dan. We've got Harry Barton, Chief Executive of the Devon Wildlife Trust.
Hello.
Hello. There we go, we can hear you and we can see you. I'm just going to run through that again for everybody. So we've got Plymouth City Councillor Sue Dan, we've got Harry Barton, Chief Executive of the Devon Wildlife Trust, and we've got Sharon Davies MBE. Now you've all seen their faces on the screen, so brilliant. Okay, our judging panel, you've all got a very strong connection to Plymouth and also the action for climate change. I'm going to start by asking you all individually what you're looking for in our winner tonight. We'll start with you, Councillor Dan, as you are at the very heart of this.
Okay, so when we launched our climate emergency, we wanted to make sure that we had a plan that was full of actions and not words. We live in Plymouth, we have lots of green spaces and blue spaces, and we are custodians of that space, and we need to make sure that whatever the projects do today, they show how they link with the citywide action plan. So what do I want to look for? I want to see what the impacts that they will have now and what are the long-term impacts. And more importantly, how can the projects change people's behaviour and how can we bring people along? Luke's just said that engagement is really important. We don't want to leave people behind. We want people to be able to join in. So for me, it's 3 things. It's people, it's place and Plymouth, and it's how we protect the planet. That's what I'm looking for. So well done to the finalists for getting here and good luck.
Thank you, that's absolutely brilliant. And legacy, you know, how can all of these projects continue and thrive and make a real impact on our planet? Okay, Harry, there's some amazing and diverse projects in the final 3, and what are you looking for?
Aren't they just amazing and diverse? And well done again. How we're going to decide which of these 3 amazing projects is the best is going to be really, really difficult. But what am I looking for? I mean, I think the first thing is I really want to feel and sense your passion and your belief that you can make this work, because that really is what underlies every successful project. And the other thing I'm looking for is how is Plymouth going to be different at the end of this? We know what Plymouth looks like now. Can we imagine a new Plymouth as a result of your project and how much better that's going to be?
That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Harry. Thank you for joining us. Sharon, your roots are here in the heart of Plymouth. Are you looking for a winning project with community action at its heart?
Absolutely. Do you know, it's so lovely to virtually be here tonight, and very much what Sue and Harry have said, you know, all of those points are really relative. I think also something that connects with the people of Plymouth, that has serious longevity, because that's what we need to do. You know, we need to think about things that we can change forever, really, and keep working at them. And also maybe a model that can be rolled out in other places. So Plymouth can be groundbreaking, and we can create this as a successful model, and then other cities can take it up and do the same thing.
Thank you so much, Sharon, and all of you for being here. It's quite a tough crowd, I think. Right, we've met all of our judges. Now we're going to meet our 3 final projects. The first is Project Pollinize. We caught up with project founder Owen Finney earlier on about their mission to tackle climate change. Let's take a look.
Hi everyone, my name's Owen Finney. I'm the co-director of Pollinize Community Interest Company. I want to take the opportunity to tell you about our project we have live at the moment. The remit is to equip as many school children as possible with our rewilding seed packets. That's a potential of 36,000 kids. We are doing this project because we believe pollinated decline and climate change are serious problems, and that this provides a very tangible impact to create better foraging and habitat for all pollinators. What we're hoping to achieve is to Hi everyone, my name's Owen Finney. I'm the co-director of Pollinize Community Interest Company. I want to take the opportunity to tell you about our project we have live at the moment. The remit is to equip as many school children as possible with our rewilding seed packets. That's a potential of 36,000 kids. We are doing this project because we believe pollinated decline and climate change serious problems, and that this provides a very tangible impact to create better foraging and habitat for all pollinators. What we're hoping to achieve is to give children a valuable lesson in being able to engage in conservation and be able to log and record their sowing coordinates across the city. This will be in conjunction with Plymouth City Council and having some areas across the city for the children to sow in, so it provides a bit of legacy to the project. And I guess we chose crowdfunding as the option because we think it helps validate your idea when you get a crowd behind it. It's a great soundboarding process, it's a great marketing exercise, but more importantly it creates ownership to the project, and people feel involved, and it enables people. So I think as a platform it provides a good opportunity for that. Yeah, hope you enjoyed listening to the project. Cheers.
What an incredible initiative. So good you got to see it twice. And there's an example of what happens when you're live streaming. We've got the most amazing crew behind the scenes. Owen, how are you feeling?
Fairly nervous.
Well, I think that's fair enough, Owen. It's a pretty big night. I want to ask you a couple of questions, and I'm going to start off with, I want to ask you why it's so important to teach children about climate change, and it, you know, if you could explain that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. We believe that giving children the right tools to engage in conservation is a huge sort of responsibility on us, and we think that it can provide such a easy impact, and it allows the project to be scalable to other cities and to get other schools involved as well. Yeah, and the kids are just, they need to be equipped with the right tools, and a seed packet is just one really easy way to make that happen, we think.
Well, I couldn't agree more, actually. I think it's really important to teach our young people how to grow. I'm a massive fan myself. Now, it's not just your actual project that you're running, you're crowdfunding live at the same time, and many people will know just how difficult that is. How have you found it? Can you tell us a little bit about the process?
Yeah, crowdfunding is exciting and stressful, and I'd imagine there's lots of people out there that sort of like share that sort of feeling. But we've done one before, so we're a glutton for punishment by doing another one, really, just because we were complete newbies when we did the first one, and we didn't really know what to expect or how it would work. But doing the second one, we're sort of full of expectation of how things should work. So yeah, this one's been slightly more stressful in that sense.
No, I think fair enough. Crowdfunding is very hard work. Sounds like you're smashing it doing two, which is absolutely brilliant. It gives you the knowledge of how to do another one. Well, thank you ever so much. Now we're going to go and meet some of Project Pollinize's backers. So we should have Lucy and Jacob to talk to. Lucy, are you there? It's really good to have you here tonight. Hi, it's working. That's brilliant. Hi, Lucy. Can you tell us a little bit about what drew you to pledge on Pollinize's project?
Yeah, sure. I've actually had the pleasure of being a Pollinize patron since their first crowdfunder last year. I've also known about this project for a little while, as one of my jobs is as coordinator of the Plymouth Art Weekender, and Pollinize pitched to do a smaller version of this project at one of our seed funding events. They pitched to run a flash mob of school children handing out their seed packets in the city. I think this project weaves community engagement, education around climate emergency and the bees with the inherent creativity that the children of Plymouth and further afield hold. And I think that speaks for itself, really, harnessing our children to become activists, scientists and botanists who hold the future to shape the planet's future.
Wow, Lucy, that's an incredible endorsement. And show me a flash mob and I am there, okay, for the next one. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Lucy. Jacob, are you there? Can we come and talk to you? Hi, Jacob. How are you?
Hello, everybody. Good evening. How are you doing?
Really great to have you online. And
you.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you have pledged on the project and why climate action is something that we all need to be tackling right now?
Sure, I'll do my best to keep it short and sweet like nectar and squeeze in as many buzzwords as I can. I've been helping Matt and Owen out with the project since the early days, and I'm just blown away by how far they've come in such a short space of time. The project it's got so much potential to revolutionise the way people think about and engage with the environment, and I really hope it will soon become a household name that everybody knows and remembers. As we all know, 2020 has been quite a challenging year for many of us for a variety of different reasons, but in particular, the quality and the level of education that children have received has been massively impacted. I believe that the Pollinize crowdfunder will provide school kids across the city with a really fun and educational way of engaging with this truly essential but exciting rewilding process. And I'm going to quote Confucius now, excuse me. Confucius once said, if your plan is for 1 year, plant rice. If your plan is for 10 years, plant trees. But if your plan is for 100 years, then educate the children. And I think the Pollinize vision is about teaching people to look beyond our own immediate timescale and create a sustainable future for generations to come. This project will allow children to enact the results of real-world university-led research, whilst also learning about the importance of pollinating insects and their role and their impact on biodiversity and climate change across the city. And it will also improve their STEAM skills, which is an abbreviation of science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. That's one for the teachers. The interactive map on the website, it gives the kids a chance to plot geographical coordinates of where their own personal seed packet will be planted. And they can also keep an eye on the bees via the new live stream beehive cameras. This will help us to understand more about where our pollinating insects go for food, combined with the DNA analysis of the pollen that we're going to collect. So to answer your question in short, I'm certain that the Pollinize crowdfunder is a really effective way of getting involved with the climate crisis we face and will hopefully inspire the next generation of citizen scientists and conservationists across the city. Thank you very much.
My gosh, what an incredible way of supporting your project. You're amazing. And the puns, I was not expecting that. And I am so in love with the puns. Let's find out what our judges think. So we're going to hand over to get all of our judging team to ask their questions to Owen. We're going to start with you, Councillor Dan. This is such a strong community project. Do you have some questions for Dan? Sorry,
well, I had
for
lots
Owen.
of questions. Sorry, I had lots of questions, Owen, but of course a lot of them have now been answered with your presentation. But I suppose I'm going to ask one thing, because the legacy is definitely with education of the children, but we also have the children's parents to think about as well. And I'm just wondering, as part of that community engagement, how you've thought about how you can share some of the learning, not just from the children, but out into the communities and out into their parents, because this is about behavioural change right across the population.
Thank you. Yeah. To answer, I think if kids become the driving force, it then encourages the parents to sort of like learn from that. And because we have a sort of really effective tool to log and record where the seeds are being sown, you can see where effective crowdsourced sowing is happening in the city. And I think I just think if kids push it, it will encourage the parents to become change their behaviours as well.
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing like an assertive child to change a parent's behaviour. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you very much. Well done, Owen. Next up, Sharon, what would you like to know about Owen's project?
First and foremost, congratulations. You know, whatever happens tonight, it's a great project and you've got a great team. I can hear them all being brilliant. For me, obviously, particularly with this year, with COVID as well, a lot of things that I worry about are well-being, and young people being able to get them out into nature, to me, seems like a really brilliant, positive thing. So it's double-ended. You know, you're looking at climate, but you're also looking at the mental health of young children. Is that something that was important to you, getting them connected to nature?
Great question.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to document and the sowing and watch the plants grow and see what pollinators visit it, and you know, in their garden or on their windowsill if they have like a little seed box. I think it just yeah, like you said, it's double-ended, and it just really allows for the well-being to sort of be enhanced in that way as well.
Gosh, these questions are amazing, and it's sharing so much more about these projects. Harry, what have you got to say, and what's your question, please?
Well, there's so much that's impressive about this project. You've really thought it through, and having looked at all the stuff on the website, I felt, you know, here's a bunch of people who really know how to run a project and make it work. There are other projects out there in the country that are involved handing out seed to people. I'm sure you're aware of them. I'm sure we've learned from them. Just tell us a bit about why yours is different.
Yeah, great. Love to do that. So our seed packets are different in the sense that this whole year we've been collecting pollen from our hives across the city, and what we do with that pollen is send it to the Roslin Institute up in Edinburgh, and that will get analysed and we'll get the results back. So we'll then inform seed packet recipes from that. So on a postcode by postcode basis, we can prescribe the seed packets for where there might be gaps or abundances in certain sort of flowers, and we can provide nectar-rich sources for all pollinators then. And we've also used, I'm not sure if other seed packet companies do it, but we use 2 government databases to see the highest plant pollinator interactions and which yield the most, and what are native to England as well, which was quite an important decision for us. And also where we procure the seeds from as well was a really important sort of value we wanted to put into the packets as well. So that's how we see it as unique in that sense.
Right, thank you. Good luck.
That's amazing. So much high-tech seed bombing, parent teaching, power to the people. What an absolutely amazing project. And I'm at the point where I'm really, really delighted now that you've all met Project Pollinize. You've all seen the action, and I can announce that their total has now increased by an extra £2,500. Woohoo! Check that out. That's pretty good going. Right then, what's next? Are we ready? We are going to head to our second finalist, which is the 1,000 Tyres project. Earlier, we heard from project founder Mallory. Ta-da!
My name is Mallory, and I'm running the 1,000 Tyres project. The project aims to reduce pollution in Plymouth Sound by removing and recycling tires and other dumped rubbish. We located all of these tires while looking for shipwrecks in Plymouth Sound, and eventually found 1,000 tires and lots of other junk. We already have great support from local companies like Sonodyne, the seabed owner, the Duchy of Cornwall, and our local MP, Luke Pollard. But we need your help. Plymouth Sound is a beautiful place, but the seabed is full of rubbish. But we want to clean it up. And cleaning it up starts with 1,000 tires.
I think you're on mute. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
We've got you. There we go. And we've got some extra help coming in there. Brilliant. Oh, I love live streaming. You never know what's going to happen next. Right, Mallory, that's the most incredible project. And looking after our oceans has such a huge role to play in tackling climate change. Has this always been something you're very passionate about?
No, I'm a maritime archaeologist, and we found these tires by looking for shipwrecks in Plymouth Sound. And we found them and we're like, 5 years ago, we didn't really know what to do with the information. So we talked to a few specialists because we're not biologists. We weren't sure if what we were seeing was something that should be rectified. So we talked to Plymouth University and we spoke to a few specialists, and they said no, that these should be brought up. So we developed this idea. We talked to Luke Pollard, and he thought it was a great idea. So we decided to put in for the climate challenge.
That's amazing. That's just absolutely brilliant. And so what was it that actually inspired you to start this project?
What inspired me is that for people who don't dive, because I work underwater, is that most people have this concept of what the underwater world looks like, and it's pristine, and there are shipwrecks with sails up. And the underwater world isn't like that, and Plymouth Harbor isn't like that. And any harbor that is used, like Plymouth has been since the Bronze Age, has lots of rubbish in it. And I wanted to show this because I look at sonar all the time, but most people don't. And when I was showing these images of the tires with the high-res sonar from Sonodyne, people were just amazed. And I thought, this is something we have to use these images. We have to inform people. And we've even taken the images and used them with kids to go, how many tires can you find? How many tires can you circle? It's been such an engaging project. I'm just so happy that we did it.
That's just such a powerful sort of notion that there is so much out there that we just can't see. And many of us in our day-to-day lives would have absolutely no idea that there's this litter. And thanks to you, that's changing. Now, as we've mentioned before, crowdfunding can have its ups and downs, a bit like a ship on a boat. I'm sure you're very used to that. But are you used to crowdfunding? How has it been for you? And can you tell us a little bit about the process?
So this is our first crowdfunder. We've never done anything like this before. And it was a challenge to try to get all the information together and then put it out to the public that it was, because some of it's really high tech about, why and how we found this stuff. But one of the most amazing things that's come from Crowdfunder is the engagement of a brand new audience. And I now have tons of supporters, and we have people that want to volunteer, and people have, offered up boat time, which is very expensive. And the best thing to come from this is that a gentleman got in contact with me who has a startup company to recycle tires and GRP, which is the plastic boats that you see everywhere. And he wants to be the first in the UK to recycle these boats here in Plymouth. Nowhere else is this happening, and we want to help him do that, because we have done with the ships project is record all of the hulks around Plymouth that are quite old and historic. But next to those hulks are all of these GRP boats that are actually rubbish on our coastlines. And this would be something that we can take with the tires and we can develop with the company in Plymouth to be the first. I just think that's amazing.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I think for me, I guess, on this case, the very fact of crowdfunding, then connecting further communities and just getting bigger and bigger, and that legacy again is really important. Okay, well, thank you ever so much, Mallory. We're now going to go and talk to some of your backers, which is really exciting. We've got Peter and Josh. Peter, it's really good to have you tonight. There you are. Amazing. Okay, Peter, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about what drew you to pledge on this campaign?
Well, it's a fabulous project. It's a community project. It's going to be done by the people of Plymouth. It's going to clean up Plymouth Sound and the foreshore around it. So, everyone's going to kind of benefit. It's going to improve the ecosystem. And this whole thing with improving our ability to recycle is really quite important too. It's a practical project. It benefits the environment. It benefits the people of Plymouth. And the other thing is, if this works here, it's something that can be rolled out and repeated in other places.
That's absolutely brilliant and completely right. You know, these projects are in Plymouth and everywhere across the world are test beds for brilliant tech and everything going forward. Thank you ever so much for joining us. And who do we have next? Josh, are you there? There you go, Josh. Nice to see you. To see you nice. Oh God, that's terrible, isn't it? I don't know where that came from. Josh, are you a Plymouth local, and can you tell us why this project is just so important?
I am indeed a Plymouth local, and I work for the Blue Marine Foundation, a charity dedicated to supporting a healthy ocean. We see the legacy of this project for Plymouth and for the UK. We always wanted Plymouth Sound National Marine Park to be a catalyst to enhance the environment, and the Thousand Tyres project does just that. It's going to remove a serious amount of marine litter, raise awareness and help foster care for the marine environment. Habitat restoration is an important component in our fight against climate change. Plymouth Sound boasts amazing habitats, including valuable seagrass meadows. But out of sight beneath the surface, marine litter damages these fragile habitats, affecting biodiversity. I'm not sure if Confucius said look beneath the surface or not, but I am sure that Thousand Tyres project demonstrates timely thought leadership from Britain's ocean city, and through the lens of the National Marine Park can export the important work across the UK.
Thank you so much, Josh. I mean, you guys, like all these project backers, are just absolutely, really sort of putting an emotive and factual impact on all of these projects. It's absolutely brilliant to have our backers. Now we're going to go back to our judges, and they're going to talk to Mallory. We're going to start with Harry, CEO of Devon Wildlife Trust. Harry, this project must strike a real chord with you.
Oh, it so does. And I'm really, really pleased that we got a marine project here. We just don't talk enough about our marine wildlife. Half of our wildlife here in the southwest is out at sea, and as has been said so many times, we just don't see it. And if we don't see it, there's always a temptation not to care for it as much as we should. And I love the real simple direction of your project. Here's a problem, here's a solution. Can you just tell us a bit more about how you plan to involve the local community here in Plymouth in this work?
So one of the things that we have been seeing while going out looking at these hulks is that we've been seeing tires in the estuaries and in the rivers. And a lot of people don't dive, but a lot of people can still help get these tires, because the tires that are on the foreshore are actually breaking down the quickest. Those are the ones that are having the UV light sent to them. They get dry, they get wet, and they break down quicker. So they can help us do a big cleanup on the foreshore, which isn't as nice as a beach clean. You're going to get very, very muddy, because I do mudlarking, but people will love it.
That's absolutely brilliant. Great response there, Harry. Did that help? Did that sort out your question for you?
No, that's great. Thank you very much. Best of luck.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Right, over to you, Sharon. Do you have a question for Mallory?
I do, but Harry stole it. There you go. I was going to ask, exactly that. How do you get people, just members of the community who don't dive, to actually go out and be involved in the project? I mean, you talked about the damage that the rubbish is doing, and I used the word lucky enough very vaguely here to do Bear Grylls, the island, a few years ago, and to see the rubbish that was on the beaches in Panama was absolutely heartbreaking. We have that same problem, but it's hidden. So this is as much about awareness, isn't it? And about trying to get people to know what is actually hidden from us.
Yes. Yeah, the other thing that we want to do with this is we want to engage with the community so we don't do any more dumping. And that's a really big thing about getting the right wordage out there, to get videos up, to have a big age group. We want people to come out who are 5, who are 85 and can do this. We're gonna have people come out in the boats with us, which is getting somebody out in the water that maybe has never been out on Plymouth Sound. I just think that it's a great way of getting people involved in the actual act of cleaning up. People sometimes feel like they don't have an active role in doing big things other than picking up maybe something from the sidewalk. And this makes them feel like a part of a much bigger picture.
Thank you.
Gosh, that's incredible. I think it's really important to get everybody involved. Right then, Councillor Dan, how are you feeling and do you have a question?
Well, I had two questions and they've both been pinched by my fellow judges, so I'm going to have to come up with a third one. So I suppose my third question is, I mean, it was good. It was nice that Josh talked about Plymouth Sound as being part of the National Marine Park. But I suppose, how are you going to build up the sort of the larger volunteers? Because 1,000 tyres in deep water is quite a lot of, you know, tyres to pull up. So I can understand you engaging with people on the shoreline and the home foreshore, but how are you going to build up that momentum for actually in the water?
So I have been turning away people that want to come down to Plymouth on their ribs and they're with BSAC clubs at the moment because they want the coordinates of all the tires. Because the ghost fishing and the removal of pots net has really become a big thing. So right now, I think I have 7 boats that want to come down and 54 divers, and we haven't even put the word out yet. And we'd like to make this local. We want to train up our own divers because we train our divers to do archaeology here in Plymouth. We want to train those divers and create custodianship of these waters, because if we do it here, that means we probably won't have the same dumping anywhere. And, you know, like Pete said before, if we're successful here, especially with the recycling and producing an app, we can roll this out anywhere. I had people get in touch with me from Falmouth and from Newland. Newland's seabed will look very much like Plymouth because it's so busy. So I think that if we do it right, we can help, you know, tons of other people.
Oh, Mallory, you've been absolutely amazing. You've really shown everyone what your project's about, and your backers are brilliant too. Now, thank you for coming on, and your moment has come, as I'm very pleased to announce that your funding total has now increased by 2,500. Isn't crowdfunding absolutely amazing? Okay, so we are now at our third and final project, and they are called Moths to a Flame. We heard from the team earlier on to tell us all about it.
Plymouth Energy Community wants to see a fair, affordable and zero carbon energy system for everyone. But we're in a climate emergency and the system that we have is broken. From fuel poverty to rising emissions, we need to take action.
The voice of Plymouth should be heard by world leaders at the International Climate Conference in Glasgow in 2021.
We're part of the Art and Energy Collective, and the money you give will fund Moths to a Flame.
A whole year of free, creative activities in Plymouth, resulting in a mass participation art installation to represent you at the conference.
Together, we'll explore our relationship with energy and the world around us.
Get hands-on with solar art and renewables.
Make thousands of moths that'll carry your words and record your hopes for a better energy future.
Most importantly of all, we'll find our own power to influence the change we need. You can show your support by
adopting a solar panel in Plymouth's very own solar system.
By making beautiful moths to join our Whisper in flight to Glasgow.
Or by coming along on a moth watching expedition.
However you choose to take part, your voice matters. So please, help us to help you get your message directly to those who can make the changes that we need.
Thank you.
Our judges have a massive challenge on their hands. Now, I'm joined by project owner Alistair. You're here. How are you feeling? Oh, you might be on mute, Alistair. I can't hear you, but maybe everyone else can.
Sorry. So, yeah, I'm very excited to be here. I'm very pleased to be here.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, and I think we're experiencing a slight lag, so you're going to all have to bear with us, but we're going to do that mumbo jumbo where we talk over each other, Alistair, and get through and help get you through some questions. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Art and Energy Collective is at the very heart of this project, and can you tell us a little bit more about your pretty awesome community?
So, yeah, we have an amazing community. And this project is about cooperation, it's about collaboration, and
really, we're bringing together the voices of everyone in Plymouth. Really, this project provides the ability for everybody, be them children, grandchildren, politicians, swimmers, businessmen. People, can do it in their homes. They can create moths in their school. They can come with us to a solar farm to do some moth trapping. They can do it in their homes. We've got packs that allow people to do people in their homes. So this really does open up the opportunity for everybody in Plymouth to participate in expressing their desire for hope and desire for change, and to take that voice to our magnificent art installation that we're going to be creating at the Royal Botanical Gardens in Glasgow as part of the Climate Conference in November next year.
That's an incredible sort of culmination of such a community effort. And we've probably gone over this a few times, and we've asked everybody about crowdfunding, and I just simply must know from you, how have you found it? I mean, we encourage people to crowdfund all of the time, but I'd love to know what you thought of the process and the ups and downs.
I absolutely love crowdfunding. We have done it before, but not in this form. So Plymouth Community, Plymouth Energy Community, who is leading this project, has run 3 crowdfunders, and we've raised money through community shares in the past to fund our solar installations across the city. So we as a community organisation already own 20% of the renewable energy capacity across the city. But that's played to a very specific audience of people with the ability to invest and understand a community share offer. Crowdfunding in this form provides a great opportunity to open it to a much broader audience. And it's been really telling across the course this week that we've generated 40 new backers just since Monday rather, when we were shortlisted, and they were kind of new people coming to the party, as it were. And we raised 13,000 in that process, and that's meant we've reached our target already this week, and we've gone into our stretch. So it's properly exciting crowdfunding in this way, and I've got a great passion for it.
I can hear your excitement for it, and it just fills my heart with joy, because I think it can give back so much, and when you're helping so many people, and I think you got that across really eloquently. Right, we are now going to move across and meet 2 of your backers for your project. We're going to meet Ellie and we're going to meet Hannah. So Ellie, do we have you here somewhere?
Hi everyone.
Hi Ellie, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on. It's really great to have you. Brilliant. Okay, so let me ask you, what was it that drew you to this project like a moth to a flame? Ha ha ha, had to get it in there.
Great. So before answering your questions, I'm just going to introduce myself quickly. So I'm Ellie Zawi. I'm the project manager of the Smart Citizens program, which is part of the wider IME Flower project in Plymouth. So Smart Citizens is opening Fab Lab Plymouth, based at Plymouth College of Art, to communities. And I'm here this evening on the behalf of Fab Lab Plymouth and Plymouth College of Art, because we're supporting the incredible work of the Art and Energy Collective in collaboration with Plymouth Energy Community on the Moths to a Flame project. So Art and Energy first got involved in our Fab Lab a couple of years ago to work on a research project making photovoltaic panels more creative, and they then started creating artwork using solar grids. Over the years, they developed great knowledge, experience around these sustainable, innovative and creative practices, but also around community engagement. It led us to run creative and tech workshops together. We're now collaborating to run more workshops that will be free, open to communities in Plymouth to create solar-powered, illuminated workshops for participants to take home, and also to question our energy system, its place in our response to climate emergency as well. So I think that the Moths to a Flame project has a huge potential to inspire community-led action to climate change. The team has a strong knowledge, skills, experience and network in Plymouth and the Southwest. And in addition, I'd like to say that I had the opportunity myself to see the Moths to a Flame exhibition at the Plymouth Art Weekend this year. And it was an amazing, immersive experience to be surrounded by the moth shining all over the space, and to know that they had been created by people from all over the region with a strong message to take action for climate change. That was absolutely powerful. It's a very participative project in many different ways, as Alistair just said. They have tutorials and workshops to create your own moth and have it exhibited at the COP26 conference in Glasgow next year. It's also a great project to feel connected with that beautiful and mysterious species, and above all, it enables anyone to get creative, understand more about renewable energies, and together be involved to protect the planet.
Ellie, you're amazing. What an incredible run of support for your project. You really are a perfect project supporter, giving it your all. That's fantastic. And we're now going to move across to Hannah, who also has some words of support. And Hannah, can you tell us a little bit about what you like most about this community-driven idea?
Yeah, so I run an organisation called Plymouth Culture, and absolutely believe in the power and the force of creativity to make change. And that's why I absolutely back this project and how it operates, because this project makes change feel possible. And I think when it's something as daunting as the climate emergency agenda, which can feel so inaccessible to people, this project absolutely makes people feel that the power is literally in their hands to make one little piece of the jigsaw change that will make a difference globally. And they use the power of creativity, which is inherently exists in everyone, whether they know it or not, to feel empowered to make that change. And I think what's been really exciting about this and humbling for me is to work with a passionate team that I believe is genuinely, quietly creating a global movement. And they might not even know it yet, but they absolutely are. And the way in which they work, so their model of working, is what I believe can change the way this city actually engages communities on the climate emergency agenda, but also on other agendas, because their approach to community engagement is facilitating communities to be the driving force behind change. And that is actually what will eventually make the difference. And it's great that it's backed by the council, and it's great that it's backed by other organisations like myself, but it is a movement of people that will make lasting change. And this project has a way of doing that like no other. And I think it feels very authentic to Plymouth, that in typical Plymouth style, we've got a pioneering project that is grown in the city, but launched to the world. And actually, this could be our gift to the global climate emergency change. And I think when it's taken to COP26, that will be recognised the world over.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm just feeling so much passion from everybody that's talking about their projects. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, Hannah and Ellie. Right, we are now going to come across to our judges. Sharon, are you there? As someone with very strong ties to Plymouth, did this community action, energy action, resonate with you?
Yeah, absolutely, Jess. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I am a very proud Plymouthian tonight with all these things that people are doing in the community. Absolutely fantastic. Alistair, well done to you and your team. Brilliant. When you were talking about obviously solar power, were you also thinking about other modules that you can use, say, with wind power and wave power and all the other things that, you know, are part of what I would call environmentally friendly powers?
Here we go.
Absolutely. So we are, as an organisation, we are talking about the whole energy transition. And so we're regularly engaging with the communities at a range of different levels around solar projects. We're talking about heat pumps projects at the moment and community-owned heat solutions. We're talking about energy efficiency at scale. We're talking about zero carbon housing. We have a community-led housing project as part of the Plymouth Energy Community. But those are all quite technical things that we're involved in. The power of this project is that it's not technical. You know, it isn't just playing to the energy and climate change geek like me. It's playing to everybody. And it is tackling that issue that was touched on earlier around well-being, and engagement. We saw in the last couple of years pre-COVID a massive growth and upswelling and awareness around climate change and the importance for action in that. And people need to know where to direct that awareness and what to do next. Now, making their views known on the global stage in a simple way, in a creative way, is just such a marvelous way to empower people to take their voice. And we have an opportunity this year, over the course of the next 12 months, to take that onto the global stage, because we have the COP26 conference being held here in the UK. That is a unique opportunity that we need to grab, and Plymouth can smash it there.
Well, that's absolutely brilliant, Alistair. Sorry, let me get my names right. Sharon, how did that feel? Was that a good answer to your question?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think it's really difficult this year because obviously COVID has kind of taken over everything, and there was so much momentum a year ago, you know, with solar power and wind power and climate change and all the children out on the streets, and we were so aware of it. And I think we're just having to work very hard to build that awareness back up again, because other things have kind of taken over just a little bit, understandably.
I think it's really clear, actually, that the people wanting to get behind these climate projects, even though it has, like you say, been taken over by so many other subjects, they're still there and they still want to back. How about you, Councillor Dan? How are you feeling? Do you have some questions for Alistair?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is obviously a project which really was going to showcase Plymouth, and it's sort of going to inspire a lot of people. So I suppose my question is that what do you think will be the sort of the long-term benefits, really, of the project to the city? So once we've gone past Glasgow, where do you see it going?
So net zero is where we're going, and to get to net zero, you know as well as I do the scale of behaviour change that is required. We know from the government's own kind of advisors that to get to net zero, that like 65% of the policies that will take us there need substantive individual and community grassroots level of change. So what we're providing here is an opportunity for people to effectively make, you know, a step in the right direction. By engaging creatively, they can start to move towards a kind of more climate-friendly lifestyle. So that's a massive legacy thing in terms of mobilising kind of individual awareness around their impact on the environment, starting conversations, normalising action around climate change. But equally, it's about that legacy, at least for Plymouth, in terms of actually as a kind of city that's pushing the boundaries, you know, pushing the boundaries with the Climate Emergency Declaration. And we're taking our model of expression of that to the world stage in Glasgow. That will be a legacy in its own right, because it will give us more confidence in what we believe in doing. And this idea has massive legs. We've proven that. You know, people are talking to us from all around the country about how could we do this in our area. We've got a raft of national community energy organisations across nationally wanting to do something similar in their communities. So ideally, we're kind of building this idea that isn't just Plymouth's voice that gets taken to Glasgow, but we lead from Plymouth a whole raft of voices all the way up the M5 and all the way to Glasgow, with, you know, communities expressing themselves through creative moths, tens of thousands of moths flying in the skies of the Royal Botanical Gardens in Glasgow, giving, you know, taking that kind of whisper of hope into a roar of change.
Thank you so much. What an incredible response to Councillor Dan's question. Harry, excuse me. Harry, what is your question?
Well, I love the energy behind this project. I love the colour and the imagination and the passion you've shown so clearly. And my goodness me, don't we need to take this message to the people who are the key decision makers. So, you know, the reality is, I'm sure you know, with these conferences, is that all sorts of people come with all sorts of messages, not all the ones that we might agree with. So you'll take this fantastic message up to Glasgow. What will you do? Just tell us a bit about what will you do to make sure that all these bigwigs up there are going to hear your message and not the other messages.
I think that's a great question. And I think the answer to that is, you know, first of all, we need to secure a good venue. And we've got that. You know, there's no point having this as a sidebar show in the back of a conference hall. This needs to be somewhere where people want to come to. People that have clout and influence want to come to. We have that, so that's great. we also need to build momentum. So Plymouth's voice is brilliant, but we will get more people coming to the botanical gardens if we've got other people along the journey with us. So this is multiple communities led from Plymouth out there. And I think, you know, the conversations that we've been having over the course of the last weeks from the Cabinet Office who are organising COP26, they're interested in grassroots initiatives. We're talking to national kind of community energy organisations that want to kind of sponsor this because they see the model, you know, these are renewable energy organisations wanting to sponsor their kind of things. So we're seeing local rollout in across Devon in terms of at Torbay and the Geopark and stuff like that. So Torbay are getting behind it, Cornwall are getting behind it. So they could, you know, we already have a lot of the materials to roll this beyond Plymouth. We're in our stretch target at the moment, and that's allowing us to go to, you know, across Devon to do this further. So I think it is about momentum from Plymouth, led by Plymouth, and having a great place and a great creative kind of idea. We have all those things. We've got the dream team. We can make it happen.
Great, thank you. Great answer.
Absolutely brilliant end to that. Really, really pitchy. Okay, thank you very much, Alistair, for introducing us to your project. And now here is your moment, because we can now announce that you have had another £2,500 added to your crowdfunding total. Whey! That is some funding that's already gone on to all of our projects. I hope you guys are all feeling amazing. I certainly am. So we've met everyone now. You've met all the projects. You've met all the backers. You've seen what our judges are thinking and the questions that they've been asking. Now, we're going to let our judges go and deliberate. That's a word, isn't it? And in the meantime, I'm going to be joined by Plymouth City Councillor Chris Penberthy and Dawn Babe, Director of Crowdfunder, for a chat. Now, do we have... Yay, this is good. We're working. Hello, Councillor Penberthy. How are you today?
Hi, Jess. What an inspiring evening we've had so far. It's certainly lifted my spirits at the end of a hard-working day.
I know. It's just so inspiring, isn't it? I mean, I'm just blown away. And, you know, having not heard all the details from all the supporters, I was just thinking everybody is so passionate about every project. And, of course, none of this would be possible without Plymouth City Council. And I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the Plymouth City Council's actual climate change goals themselves.
Yeah, and there's a massive question. Plymouth City Council has recognised for quite a long time that we've got a significant part to play in tackling climate change. I know for quite a long time that was all about, well, it has to be us and the key institutions, but we now know it's a lot more than that. On the 18th of March last year, as a council, we voted unanimously to declare a climate emergency and pledged to make Plymouth carbon neutral by 2030. Now, that's substantially earlier than the government is planning to make the country carbon neutral, but that is important, it's ambitious, it's what Plymouth is about. To make that happen, in our first response was that we developed a climate emergency action plan. It's a framework for developing the journey of the city and the council, and was the first of what will be 11 plans, each one an annual review, updated all the way through to 2030. Each plan is going to be about taking action, securing funding, and lobbying national government for change, and so is quite full. The second plan is already being worked on and is due to be approved early in the new year. Alongside that plan, we've also developed a corporate carbon reduction plan, which looks at what we do as a city council ourselves to ensure that we're not only playing our part, but we're leading by example and showing what others can do in the city. And that's also being reviewed and updated annually. Every single decision the council now makes is considered through the lens of climate emergency. And that is really important. And we're also bringing it into the way we spend money and expect our supply chains to do the same. In the last year, we've taken a range of actions, including working with some of the really big organisations and employers in the city, such as Babcock, our higher education institutes, the City Bus, the Plymouth Science Park, the police, and our NHS Trust, and have set up the Plymouth Net Zero Partnership to provide leadership and strategically address some of our big issues that stretch beyond any single one of us as an organisation. We've successfully bid for £3.3 million of Green Homes grants, funding that is paying for energy efficiency improvement for some of the lowest income households across the city. That's really important because not only does it address climate emergency, it also tackles fuel poverty. We're installing 45 workplace electrical vehicle charging points at businesses across Plymouth at the moment, with a further 32 being installed for the council's fleet, which we have now turned in large part to electric vehicles. We're also going to be installing up to an additional 19 vehicle-to-grid charge points to trial with our own fleet. We also secured finance from the Transforming Cities Fund to develop 50 multimodal mobility hubs across the city, including an additional 300 public electric vehicle charging points, 400 electric bikes, and the establishment of an electric car club, with all of that being delivered by 2023. And that's just the flavour of some of the things that we're already doing to tackle the climate emergency. That's in year 1. Think what we can do together by year 11.
Oh my gosh. Councillor Penberthy, that is just an absolutely amazing list. I can't wait to see all of this happen and actually any impacts. Now, we're going to head over to Dawn Babe, who's one of the directors at Crowdfunder. Dawn, yes, we've got you. Hello.
Hello, Jess.
All right, welcome to our live stream. Could you tell us a little bit more about the relationship between Crowdfunder and the council? And I know that there's tons of incredible match funding there, but how did this all happen?
Well, thanks, Jess. First of all, could I just say what an amazing evening this is? And we set up Crowdfunder about 8 or 9 years ago, actually with the help of Plymouth University, as it happens. And it was set up to help people make their brilliant ideas happen that were designed to tackle society's challenges. And I think tonight we are seeing that live, aren't we? And it's really, really super exciting. Isn't it brilliant, Jess? We together worked on this years ago. We were the team. We did it. And so we've actually had a really long relationship with Plymouth City Council. We had this crazy idea a few years back to see, say, wouldn't it be cool if a city could crowdfund itself, if it could actually make the ideas, if the community could make the ideas happen that it wanted to see. And we thought that would be interesting. And Plymouth City Council sat there, thought about it and said, actually, that would be kind of cool. And so we set up Crowdfund Plymouth, which 5-6 years later actually won an international award. It won the Cities of Service award last year, alongside San Francisco and Flint in Michigan, which is pretty cool. And with that funding, we came up with the idea of Climate Challenge Live, which is what's happening tonight. So all of that is pretty cool. But I also think if you're watching tonight, you might be interested to know that in Crowdfund Plymouth, there's some really great match funding available. So you can actually get about up to £30,000 worth of match funding for your idea from the City Change Fund. And there's also now a climate emergency bonus. And again, Plymouth is leading the way. It's the first city in the country to add a climate emergency bonus match funding pot into Crowdfund Plymouth. So actually, if you're the right project and you crowdfund with this, you could get up to a massive £45,000 worth of match funding, which is pretty awesome. I think you'll agree. I'm seeing lots of thumbs up in the air. So yeah, so that's kind of a quick a race through how it happened and what's on offer. But congratulations to every project tonight. You're amazing, and I'm really excited to see what happens next.
Oh my gosh, Dawn, you've got me a little bit emotional. Not everybody's going to know this, but I've been working most of my adult career with Crowdfunder in various guises. So I'm pretty close to the projects, and I'm definitely feeling really sort of empowered, and seeing how far everything's come is just, well, there we go. I'll stop making myself emotional now. Dawn, I just want to ask you one more question. I'd love to know what you think, not just in Plymouth, but definitely in Plymouth and everywhere else, but what's the impact crowdfunding can have actually on climate change when communities pull together in this way with their local authority?
Yeah, I think Councillor Penberthy mentioned something interesting, which was at the beginning of this climate emergency. I think people thought that it was the council's job or the institution's job to sort it out. But actually, as we go forward, we realise it's about us. It's about people creating a movement. And on Crowdfunder, we have the enormous privilege of seeing literally thousands of projects added to the platform, people with ideas who are trying to tackle a certain problem or come up with a solution to a problem. And we've seen, especially in the last few years, literally hundreds of projects across the country designed to tackle climate change in some way, whether it's zero waste or pollinize or whatever. And we've seen in Plymouth in particular, hundreds of projects with environmental aims start to raise money on the platform. And I think it's fair to say projects in Plymouth that are aiming to do something to tackle climate change have raised over £3.5 million, which is pretty impressive and a really great result. So, yeah.
Well done, Dawn. Thank you very much. And 3.5 million, I mean, it's so much money, helping so many people and so many projects and for such good causes. Okay, right. Councillor Penberthy, we're going to come back to you, and I would love to know what your hopes and dreams are for the projects that are crowdfunding now. No matter what happens tonight, what are you looking and hoping for in the future for all three of them? In fact, all of them that are on the Crowdfunder platform.
Thanks, Jess. Good question. We all know that climate emergency is an enormous challenge and that none of us can address it alone. We recognise that to reach net zero by 2030, we're going to need a citywide cooperative effort to tackle climate change and to leave a positive legacy for not only Plymouth, but for the planet. We hope that every person in the city knows how they can play their part for us and for our future. The projects that are in this competition all just demonstrate enormous creativity, enormous community engagement, and enormous potential impact. And so this competition has just been one of the great examples of how Plymouth is responding to the climate emergency. It's given a real chance for local projects to generate funding for climate emergency initiatives in real time and help to raise awareness of a whole range of key issues that we all need to think about. It's not just about solar power. It's a lot more than that. It's not just about tree planting. It's a lot more than that. It's not just about any of the individual things. It's a whole mindset. And this competition's helping to make that happen. Personally, I'd like to thank Cities of Service and Blomberg Philanthropies. We've got a long relationship with Cities of Service. In fact, one of the first projects we did with them back in 2013 was Energy Champions, and that was hosted by Plymouth Energy Community as one of the very early jobs that they did. And it's great to see them here today. And in fact, when Mayong Lee and her team from Cities of Service came over, they met a number of the projects that are in today's shortlist as well as in today's final. And it's really great to see that. Their prize money has enabled this competition element to happen as we launch further activity in our City Change Fund through Crowdfund Plymouth. We've upped our match funding and we've introduced the climate bonus. We've already given away over the last few years over £600,000 in match funding to Plymouth's community groups, and that is amazing. What's even more amazing is that that's over £1 million of public contributions. So we're putting our money where the public say it matters in Plymouth to together make a big difference. And climate change is really big on that, but lots of other things are as well, including culture. And we've seen a lot of community art projects that are really big in the city through this. It's great to see that happening here. But we've also seen rewilding projects and growing projects. Absolutely amazing. All of the entries have been fantastic. It's great to see our MP involved in all the local projects. I've pledged on a number, and I'm glad to say that I've pledged on all of the ones that are represented tonight. So I'm not going to say anyone is my favourite. And I hope that people are still giving because the lines are still open. Like a politician, I've used your question to get my messages across. Unlike some, I've not forgotten what you've asked.
You've just been absolutely brilliant.
So,
Did you?
I'd just like to give you some of the bits that we are going to be doing. We're committed to taking action. I'm not going to reveal everything that's in the new action plan, but you might have seen we've released beavers in Plymouth, the first urban beavers as part of rewilding. Great community project. Listen in to the exciting announcements that Sue, myself and our colleagues are going to be making at full council on January the 25th, when we take our next action plans through to actually get those approved for our next year. It's going to be exciting.
You have got so much going on. It's absolutely amazing to hear, and all the impacts of all of this. Thank you very much, Councillor Penberthy. You've been very, very brilliant for us tonight, and so much to talk about. We are now shortly going to be bringing back our judges shortly to, before we do that, and they're going to be doing the really big announcement. Before we do that, we're going to go back to our project owners and find out just how they're feeling right now. Who do we have first? Oh, Owen, Mallory and Alistair. Owen, give me your line. How are you feeling? Oh, we might need some sound. Oh, it's that whole live stream thing again. Oh, we've got a team of people trying to sort this out. So what I'm looking for next is to find out if everyone can sum up in one sentence the journey of their campaign so far and their hopes going forward. Right, Owen, hit me.
Could you say that again, Jess? Sorry, my internet's going a bit unstable.
No problem at all. What we're looking for from you is, before we make the really big announcement, we're going to find out in one sentence from you the journey of your campaign so far and your hopes going forward.
Just extremely excited to see the potential of the impact that could be created from this, and to make kids the driving force. You know, that's really what we're looking forward to, is seeing that sort of to inspire them, really.
Brilliant. Thank you. Power to the kids, Owen. Mallory, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Brilliant. I can't see you yet. There you are. Give us your one-liner. How are you feeling?
I'm excited. This is the first time that we've done anything like this, and it's just great to have this community and have this call, and there's so much energy with it all. You know, I sometimes in the middle of the crowdfunding and sending like the 102 email, you felt a bit alone, but this feels really nice now with everybody. So I can't wait to get out and clean up Plymouth Sound, because it starts with 1,000 tires, and we're going to do more than that.
You're just fantastic. Thank you so much. Alistair, can we get you up? How are you feeling? How's it been?
It's been amazing. It's been absolutely amazing. So it's taken a gem of an idea that was came from Chloe at Art and Energy about like 18 months ago. And like any crowdfunder, it's like taken that kind of gem of an idea and given it an endorsement and proven that it's got legs. So that's been fantastic. But personally, this has been like, you know, it's a journey of collaboration. It's about cooperation, and it's about the bringing together of like the makers, designers, artists, engineers, ecologists, grandparents, children, you know, energy geeks. I referenced them earlier, and like it's about giving us all that chance to express our collective voice on the global change, on the global stage.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely
awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Righty ho. Now, we're getting to the really juicy bit now. I'm hoping we can welcome our judges back to the screen. Let's see if the social action, there we go. This is brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Right. Welcome back, guys. Now, before you announce who you've chosen as the winner, could we please just ask why you chose this project? But you have to do this without giving away who the project is. So, right, we're going to start off with Councillor Dan.
Okay, this is going to leave an environmental legacy for the future and create an active community.
Thank you so much, Councillor Dan. Right, over to you, Sharon.
I picked this because I felt that it was something that the local community could get behind, but I thought that it was also something that we could roll out across the whole country and get lots of people involved in.
Amazing. Oh gosh, I'm getting so excited now. Right, Harry, can you talk to us?
Oh gosh, so difficult. You all deserve to win, really. But I picked this one because I just felt absolute confidence that the project would achieve what it set out to do.
This is amazing. Gosh, okay, right. Well, I feel like the moment in time where I can keep you all waiting and talk for a little while, but I don't think anyone is going to want me to do that. So without further ado, Councillor Dan, could you please tell us tonight's winning project?
Okay, I'm just going to have to say, though, that the judges thought that all the projects were absolutely brilliant and were really creative and innovative and built on science and going to leave a legacy. But the one we've chosen is going to be 1,000 tyres.
Yeah. Woohoo!
Yeah. Really different, very, very new.
Oh, that's just absolutely fantastic. Oh gosh, I bet everyone is feeling amazing right now. And do you know what, Mallory? You're a first-time crowdfunder, so this must feel absolutely amazing. Can you tell us, how's it going over there?
You've gone mute. You've gone mute.
Oh, right, okay, we've gone mute. So I'm going to repeat that again for you, Mallory. I just need to know, I mean, the thing for me, just to recap there, was that this is your first time crowdfunding. So this must be the most incredible moment. How are you feeling over there right now?
Oh my God, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. Because we started this and it was like, is it a good idea? No, it is a good idea. No, it's a really good idea. Oh, it's a really good idea. Oh, and it's just been like this amazement of people like, oh, why didn't you do this earlier? We didn't know.
This is just absolutely incredible. Right, Mallory, well, I'm really, really delighted to now tell you that your project total has just increased by £5,000. I think it might be coming up on screen, but then again, I don't know if it'll be as live. There we go. Oh my gosh, you have just done the most incredible campaign. And we mustn't forget that every project tonight has just been absolutely incredible and all the work that's gone into this. So well done, Mallory. Thank you so much for taking part and congratulations. Woo! Yay, the whole studio's totally rocking over here. Okay, so guys, I guess that this is the end of our hangout, our live stream, and the most incredible initiative, the Plymouth Climate Challenge. We hope that this has inspired all of you to find out more about the fantastic projects and the amazing match funding that Plymouth City Council has on offer. If you're thinking about crowdfunding for a project that aims to tackle climate change direct from the heart of Plymouth, you could get that extra cash injection that Dawn spoke about earlier on, alongside what you raise from the crowd. So make sure you check out the link that should be appearing on the screen. Yes, there you go. Am I pointing in the right direction? Yeah, that's cool. So crowdfunder/Plymouth City Change. And don't forget, it's not just Plymouth. These projects have shown what's possible through crowdfunding, and we encourage anyone in the UK with an idea to tackle climate change to give it a go and know that you've got the power to make a real impact. And I've got one of my team trying to get my attention to say something, so I'm going to say it. What is it? Oh, yeah. Oh, but I was going to do that. I hadn't quite forgotten. It wasn't written down. But massive thank you to all of our judges. You've been absolutely incredible, massively inspirational. And we knew that our projects and the tonight was going to be in really good hands. And also Dawn and Councillor Penberthy for their influence and conversation. So thank you, everybody. Can we get a wave from everybody before we go? Yeah? Yes. Thank you so much, everyone, and let's say good night.